sometimes in life, right, you're going to be bothered by situations. But I'm not going to lie, a lot of the times when you get bothered by things, it actually make you better. Like, truly, right? And it's hard to appreciate during the moment because a lot of times when we bother, we irritated, we frustrated, we upset, we angry, right? So it's difficult to process your emotions when you're going through things and going through situations, circumstances. But in the end, over due time, it end up making you better and you evolve from it. For example, right? I'm gonna give you something personal. Like my whole life, right? When I was young, my stepmom used to mistreat me and she used to neglect me super crazy, right? Like, so she came into the marriage with 2 kids, and my dad came into the marriage with 2 kids, me and my brother. And then my stepmom 2 kids end up becoming my stepbrothers, right? Me and my stepbrothers, we get along super well. We all get along, all of us as brothers, right? My dad, he accept my stepbrothers like his own. He treat them like how he treat us, referring to me and my actual brother. But my stepmom, on the other hand, she treat me and my real brother super funny. Like she don't embrace us like we her kids, right? So it's this weird dynamic. But my dad always had a difficult time speaking up on our behalf and just clearing the air and making sure she understand that she should treat us normally, right? Like he would kind of avoid things and just try to keep the peace. Like I started realizing over time, like, oh, he very non-confrontational when it comes to her, right? Like he would speak up about a lot of other things, but he would just avoid clarifying things with her. So my whole life, I used to always like low-key blame my dad for this, and I would be frustrated with this. Again, me being bothered, right? This ended up making me better, right? Because seeing my dad antics with avoiding things and not confronting my stepmom, it created this very confrontational nature within myself, and it gave me the courage to speak up for people and to defend people, right? So now, looking back at it, I'm super grateful for these experiences, although it was irritating as a child because it made me very vocal. It pushed me to be very honest, right? To speak up for myself, and not only for myself, to speak up for others and to defend others, right? So I always had people back, right? If they know I do or don't know, right? It don't really matter. I just will correct people and check people and speak up for other people's existence and other people's identity and other people's character. Like I would defend people to no avail. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, right, with my stepmom, it was like her mistreating me and neglecting me and treating me funny. It was very bothering at the time, but it caused me to recognize her insecurities, right? And it allowed me to understand how treating people a certain way can cause someone to feel. Because I used to question myself a lot. I used to question my identity. I used to question my worth. My self-esteem was up and down. Like I was still figuring myself out as a young child going into my teenage years. So going through that on top of trying to find out who I am was challenging. But those challenges were frustrating at the time, but it ended up pushing me to be so much better. So when I finally did figure myself out, like I really figured myself out. And even though I'm still learning who I am, because we always growing, we're always learning ourselves. But for the most part, on the outside, at least from the outside looking in, people feel as though I have an understanding of myself. And it helped with my confidence. It helped with my aura. It helped with my self-image, right? Who I thought and see myself as. Because I used to question how I see myself and question who I thought I was for so long as a child because of these experiences, because of the neglect, because of her not accepting me for who I was and who I am. So it pushed me to find out who I am, right? Because I always believed I was a good person, right? So at the time when I believe I'm a good person, but then someone is treating me as if I'm not a good person, it's making me wonder, like, am I a good person? So then I start to do things to validate the fact that I believe I'm a good person. I start to do things and start to encounter certain things, and I start to approach certain situations and involve myself with certain things just to be able to prove to myself I'm as great as I always believed I was, although someone was treating me like I was less than the ground we walk on, right? So it's very interesting because I started thinking recently, I'm like, yo, like I wonder if she didn't treat me like that, would I have figured out who I am to this extent? Like would I have gone through what I've gone through to understand myself? like maybe not. Maybe I would have been treated nicely, right, and been loved, and I would have been lazy in a sense when it comes to my journey with self-identity or my self-image. Like maybe I would have been carefree. Maybe I would have felt so loved and so comfortable. I would have been complacent in a way, and would have never came to this understanding of who I am and who I believe I am to this day. All right. So in a way, I low-key want to thank my stepmom, right? It's like I low-key want to thank her, like, yo, I appreciate you for neglecting me and for not accepting me. I appreciate you for your insecurities. You hear me? Like, keep being insecure, keep going, keep going. Say no, say no, say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, God bless her, and I'm praying for her. I hope she overcome whatever she's dealing with. But when I think about it, I don't even think she know that she put me through these type of things. I don't think it was intentional. I just think sometimes when people feel a lack of self-love and they don't feel loved by people and by things, right? They just naturally project how they see themselves and how they feel about themselves onto others, right? I feel like we all do this in a way. We all project how we think and how we feel about ourselves onto the world and onto others, right? It's like if somebody is mad and you keep trying to talk to a person is naturally going to project frustration, right? Or if a person is sad, they're going to project sadness, right? It's like, it doesn't make sense if a person is like sad and they project happiness and joy, right? So sometimes we don't look at it as deep as it really is, right? And it's very simple. We make it more complex than it is. But if a person is struggling with loving themselves, or they feel ugly, or they don't feel beautiful, or they don't feel worthy or great, they're going to project that low self-esteem, that low self-image onto anybody that's around. Like how Loki was about to do, come here, yeah. Project this insecurity onto you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times what I realize is we don't see people for what they're dealing with, right? We see people for how we perceive them and what they've shown us, right? But a person could be suffering and struggling whole time, and then they're pretending to be okay, and they're just trying to maintain and just trying to appear normal just to coexist with people. Whole time they just really want to break down and they want to hug you and cry. But a lot of times people don't know how to confront their emotions or how to let it out, or they wonder if people are going to judge them or criticize them. So people try to appear strong and try to maintain their existence and maintain the image that they've upheld for so long, that they don't really know how to let it out or how to ask for help or how to receive sympathy or empathy from people properly. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are dealing with a lot of things and don't really know how to have an outlet in a healthy manner. So they're just taking it day by day, and whole time people could be suffering right in front of us, and we thinking, damn, they got it together. Whole time they holding on by a damn string. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, with this message, I just want to spread love, and I just hope that if you watch this, you can try to be a bit more understanding towards people, and try to be a little bit more gentle, a little bit more patient, right? And just try to see things a little bit differently than how you've seen things prior to hearing this. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who's going through what and what they're dealing with. And like I said, no matter what you're going through, or no matter what you went through, do not allow your pain to hold you back from your greatness. Allow the things that bother you to make you better. Peace. Have a blessed day.